welcome to my channel. It's been a little while since I posted a favorites video because stuff has been going on, and I'll talk about it in another video because it would be fun to do a live update for a change. But nothing too dramatic, but I haven't been able to post as much as I used to. But I figured it wasn't too late to do a July favorites, even though it's August 10th right now. I still had some things I wanted to share. Usually I put all these favorites on my face during the video, but I'm a little bit ill at the moment. I just had my second vaccination and I figured I'd just make it easier and do my makeup first and then talk about some products afterwards. So I hope that's okay. I'm just going to talk about stuff in this video. So before we get started, I want to thank you so much for clicking on my video. If you are new, I'm Cecile. I upload 3 times a week, usually, with makeup related content, and sometimes I do a little bit of art. So if you think that sounds fun, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love to share my makeup and art adventures with you, and let's get into the video. I want to start with something a little bit more unusual. Last month I ordered these colored gel liners, or they're, you have to add water to these, from Makeup Revolution. And I did a couple of videos on Instagram and TikTok with them, and I believe the result was pretty positive. People really liked these. And they were really quite cheap. I think for the 4 of them it was 15 euros or something, so that's really quite affordable. And they are pretty pigmented, so I mainly used the pink one, the yellow one and the blue one. I haven't used the purple one yet, but I really like the effect that these give. Maybe I'll insert a picture right now. When I use 2 liners together. I think they create some fun liner art if you want to. So last month and the month before actually, I didn't try too many new products. There was actually about a 6-week period that I didn't buy any makeup at all. But that really gave me a chance to dive back into my older favorites. So I'm just going to start with foundation. The foundations I've really been loving for the past couple of weeks have been the Dior Forever Natural Nude foundation and the Glowish by Huda foundation, or skin tint. It's not even that hot here. There's not really much of a summer here in the Netherlands this year, but I still find that I'm reaching for a little bit more airier, lighter coverage, more glowy foundations, just because, I don't know, I guess that's the trend right now and I'm feeling it. So if I want a little bit more of a natural finish, I'm going for the Dior. And if I really want that glowy, summery finish, then I'm going for the Huda. Of course, I'm always using my other products as well, but these really stood out to me. I just recently used it, so you can't see it, but I think I'm already up to here in this foundation. And the skin tint, I'm actually having to press a little bit lower to get product out, and this is a pretty big bottle. So I thought it was noteworthy that I really love these two. By the way, in the Dior I'm shade 1N, and in the Glowish I'm shade 01 Fair. And I am actually a little bit darker than I was a couple of months ago, so these both match me really well at the moment. Well, for concealer I've been using my Pat McGrath the most, as usual. I'm not even going to show it. Should I? This is it. In a nice glass bottle. This is still my favorite concealer. Every time I use something else, I'm just a little bit disappointed. For powder, I've been reaching a lot for my Gucci powder lately. It comes in this beautiful pink compact, and the reason for this, I did the Perfect Makeup tag a couple of weeks ago, the tag created by Morgan Turner and Patty Alonso. And one of the questions was, what powder gives the perfect blur? And I started thinking that for me this is actually the Gucci powder. And I started thinking, why am I not using this more? Because I certainly love it a lot. So I started using it more, and now I can't put it down. It comes with this little cushion thingy, and I do actually use this now to really press my powder into my under eyes. This is my preferred method to set down the Pat McGrath concealer, because otherwise even that one will crease on me. So if I use powder, I really have to press it in. The shade is 00. It's a little bit brightening for me, but that's fine. I mainly use it in the center of my face. So that's also something that's a little bit different. I used to use powder all over my face, but now I usually just use it in the center of my face to set my concealer. Just, you know, to let the glowiness of the skin tints show. The other product by Glowish that I've been really loving is the bronzer. Of course, there are only 2 products at the moment, but I am loving both of them a lot. This one I also have in the shade 01 Light. This is the color. I am actually wearing it right now, and I think it's a beautiful, little bit more red toned bronzer. The funny thing is, I was watching a video by Laura May Beauty and she was complaining about how all the bronzers for her fair skin are actually too red toned. I personally really like a red toned bronzer on me, but I guess that's just a difference in preference. But this one has a really nice natural finish, and I actually feel like this is more of a cream than a powder bronzer, but it applies as a powder bronzer, but it looks more like a cream. So it's a perfect hybrid. Last month and the month before were really months of face palettes for me. I actually collected quite a few over the past couple of months, and I've been using a lot of them. So let me start with the newest one. I actually bought the Orgasm on the Beach palette by NARS in July. Was it July? Yeah, in July, and I've been really loving this. So this is what it looks like. And I've especially been loving this apricot shade over here, which is called Montezuma, I think. The highlight, this one and this one, but this one is already a little bit too dark for me, but I use it more as a blush topper, like a connector between highlight and blush, something like that. I can still use it, but I mainly use these 2 blushes a lot. But I do really like this palette. I can actually also use one of the blushes as a bronzer, more of a contoury bronzer. So this is a pretty versatile, nice palette for me. Then there were 2 palettes, face palettes I've been using that were a little bit older. One of them is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look of Love in a palette in the shade Pretty Blushed Beauty. This is one of the 2 palettes she came out with in May, I believe. And I've actually been using this one a lot. As you can see, there's quite a dip in this shade, which is beautiful, but also in the highlighter. And I've actually been using this one the most for the blush, even though it doesn't show it. So these palettes are also really useful for doing your makeup because they stand up on their own and they have the nice mirror. So that's why I always bring a face palette wherever I go. And then I usually use a lot of the shades as well. So this palette is a little bit more unique in the sense that there are also 3 eyeshadows in this, and I do use those. Like I said, there's a dip in one of them, but I feel like I use the bronzer and the highlight and the blush the most. Let me swatch. Oh, this is so nice and soft. This is the shade of the bronzer. It's a lot more pigmented than the Glowish one, but the shades are pretty similar. So I understand why I like it so much. I also swatched the blush because that one is really pretty. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's this sort of pomelo kind of color. So it's a little bit peachy, but a little bit more red than actual peach. It's a really unique shade and I really love it a lot. And when I wear it in photos, I get a lot of compliments. So then finally for face palettes, I've also been using my Lethal Cosmetics one a lot. But I'll admit, I only use the highlighter. Not because I don't like the other shades, just because I really like the highlighter. So this is in the shade Borealis, which is the lightest one of the 4. And this highlighter, it's just really nice and pink. It's not too dark pink. I can really wear it very well, but it's a nice, very cool toned pink. And I always reach for this when I have a cool toned eyeshadow look. Not today. Today I'm testing something new actually, which we will probably see in next month's favorites. And then I also really like the bronzer and the blush in this one, but the bronzer is a little bit deep for me and a little bit pigmented, even though it's the lightest shade. And I just feel like the blush and the highlight aren't really paired well. I don't really use a red blush with a pink highlight. So I guess I never think about using the blush. So let's skip into the eyes. I actually bought 2 new palettes in the month of July and I really love both of them. I'm wearing one of them right now, and that is the Head in the Clouds palette by Mitchell. Made by Mitchell, I think, yeah. Of course, this has already been out for, I believe, half a year or a little bit longer. But it was on sale on Boozy Shop, which is a Dutch wholesale company. And I really wanted to try it, and I'm not disappointed. I've been doing tons of looks with this one, at least like 7 or something, since I bought it. And every look turns out so different, and I really like all of them, and I've been posting a lot of them and people seem to really like the colors. So yeah, this is a really, really nice palette. The only gripe I have with this one, there are a lot of, well, not a lot, but there are some shades that are very similar. For instance, this shade seems to be more like a midnight blue, but it's actually more of a purple, so it's similar to this one. And there are 2 light yellows, matte yellows in it, and I don't think those were both necessary. But still, there are tons of colors in this one, so it's really nice. I especially like the metallics in this one. So this one, Eclipse, is a beautiful blue to purple duochrome, which pairs really nice with those other shades. Today I'm wearing more of a gray with purple and then a white lid. So I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this one. The other palette that was on sale at Boozy Shop was the Nabla Dreamy 2 palette, the Mystic palette. And this one really blew me away. The quality of this one is so good. This is what the color story looks like. It would have been great if there was also a dark blue matte, but that's okay. You can pair it with the darker red tones as well. It works out. But look at this shade. That's this one. And this one is a different formula, but they match together really well. You can see this one is more glittery and this one is more metallic smooth. And you can actually feel the difference on your fingers. It's a really, really beautiful palette. I wore it to a little party I had the other day and my mother did compliment me on it, so there's that. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Then finally I have 2 lipsticks I want to mention. An old one and a new one. The old one is my first Charlotte Tilbury lipstick, which is in a Matte Revolution formula in the shade Miranda May. This is a beautiful hot pink, but a little bit coral. Like it's not completely pink. There is some other shades in there. I've actually been using this one quite a lot, as you can probably see. And I did use this a lot in the beginning, but not so much right after, like a little bit later. And then recently I've been picking it up for, I don't know, about 20% of my looks. I keep listing it in my Instagram posts, and that's how I realize I've been wearing the same lipstick for a lot of times. But I really like this one. And then for my new lipstick, I only bought this like at the end of July, but since it's already the 10th, I know what I think about it. It's the Rouge Coco Flash in 146 in the shade Dazzle. I wanted a nice orangey, but not too orangey lipstick for summer. And I immediately thought of this formula. And I had some points saved up at my local Chanel counter. Well, not the actual counter, but like the Chanel counter in the Ici Paris XL. You can save points, so I got like 10 euros off. I'll swatch it. This is what it looks like. It's almost red, but it is still a little bit orange. And there's a nice sparkle in it. So this is now my go-to for summery looks. So I like using the Huda Glowish products. And then this bright lipstick with lots of mascara, nothing else on my eyes. I use an orange blush, like the from ABH, the blush trio. That could actually also be a favorite. And that's sort of my signature summer look. And otherwise I'm doing something like this with a little bit more eyeshadow. But yeah, those are my signature looks this summer. I'm so sad because summer hasn't really hit the Netherlands yet, and people are already talking about fall and how much they are excited for the colder weather. And I'm usually not much of a fan of the summer either, but somehow this year I felt like having a little bit of a summer, and I'm not getting it yet. But oh well, I can still wear bright orange lipsticks, so that's nice. So that's it for my July favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing if you did like this video, or leave a like or a comment, and I will see you in the next one.